Hello and good morning everyone. I am CACS and CMA Nikhil Gupta and I welcome all of you to yet another vlog where I am going to discuss a very important notification which has been released by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India recently. This notification has been released on 12th March 2019 last week and it clarifies certain aspects of the June 2019 examination. So all the students who are appearing for June 2019 examination, please focus on this video. Very it's really important for all of you to know the updates which are to be seen for June 2019 examination. So although this clarification covers many subjects, but in this video I am only going to focus on two subjects: paper number 12 of the intermediate, which is audit, and paper number 19 of the final examination. Guys, paper number 20 BVM and SPM has no clarification, has no updates. So whichever book you are referring to, you can continue referring to that particular book. There is no update with respect to paper number 20. But yes, there is an update with respect to paper number 19, which is cost and management audit. So let's start with paper number 12 first. Intermediate students, guys, for audit, there is a clarification that number one, the company's cost record and audit rules 2014 as amended till 30th November 2018 are applicable for your audit paper. Guys, the book which you already have and the video lectures which I have provided to you, they contain these notes, these rules which are amended till 30th November 2018. So you need not worry, you need not refer to any further amendments. Your notes and your lectures are fully amended to incorporate this particular requirement. Requirement number 2 for the intermediate students. Guys, on the page number 2, there is a mention of CARO report. This is a reporting requirement, CARO, which says that CARO 2016 will be applicable for the intermediate students. Guys, my notes and my lecture contains CARO 2016 only. So for you, there is no need to refer to any other material. There is no need to refer to any other amendment because my notes and my video lectures are more than sufficient to cover both these aspects with respect to paper number 12. It is highly recommended for all the intermediate students. Guys, please read this clarification with respect to other papers like direct taxation, like indirect taxation, so that you are aware of the amendments which are to be made in these subjects. For paper number 12, rest assured that the books and the lectures which are provided to you are more than sufficient. Now coming on to the final students, paper number 19, cost and management audit. Guys, a very important paper for your examination, which will definitely score you 60 plus marks if you read it or prepare it carefully. So with respect to that paper, first amendment is similar to what intermediate students have got. The cost and management audit final paper contains rules 2014 which are amended till 30th November 2018. There is no other further amendment which is required to be studied by all of you. Guys, let me tell you that there has been an amendment in December 2018 to these rules as well. Please note that those amendments are called as Amendment 2018. Please note that these amendments are not applicable for June 2019 attempt. These amendments may be relevant for future attempts but not relevant for June 2019 attempt. The circular has been very carefully drafted to cover the amendments till 30th November 2018, and till 30th November 2018 only the amendments till 2017 have been incorporated, have been released. It was only in December 2018 when the amendment rules 2018 had come into picture. So you guys rest assured, the book and the video lectures which I have provided to you are more than sufficient to cover the amendment rules 2017. For June 2019 attempt, amendment rules 2017 are applicable. Now the students who are yet to give their examination in December 2019, guys, you have to wait for a notification from the institute. The moment institute releases an information, I will again make a video and apprise you of the amendments which are there in 2018 and whether they are applicable to you or not. So these amendments are as of now not applicable to the June 2019 examination. Next amendment, very important amendment, guys, for the final students. CAS 1 to 24 including limited revision of CAS 2017 are applicable for the cost and management audit final paper. So guys, CAS 1 to 24, which includes the limited revision of CAS. Limited revision of CAS has already been included in your module as well as your video lectures. So you need not refer to any amended video lectures for CAS 1 to 24. And one very important thing to note at this point in time is, guys, CAS 4 revised has been released with effect from 1st March 2019. In absence of any information in this regard or any notification in this regard, it is a presumption that this amendment will not be applicable for June 2019 term examination. And the old cost accounting standard 4, will be applicable for the June 2019 examination, because this notification says that only limited revision of CAS 2017 are applicable for the June 2019 examination. So the revised CAS, which has been implemented from 1st March 2019, I'll tell you the revision also in brief. Earlier, the CAS 4 was created based on the excise laws, but the new CAS 4 has been created based on GST laws. But it is a presumption that new CAS 4 will not be applicable for June 2019 examination unless and until institute gives a clarification in this respect. We wait for a clarification from institute, and if institute says that yes, CAS 4 revised should also be applicable for June 19, I will make a video and apprise you of the revised CAS 4 schedule and revised CAS 4 provisions. In any case, whether it's applicable for June or not, I will definitely prepare a video on CAS 4 revised so that you, just for your general knowledge, are aware about the changes which have happened in CAS 4. And as I have told you that CAS 4 is one of the most important CAS which are prevalent in the industry, you should be aware about the changes which have been made in 1st March 2009. However, for June 2019 attempt, CAS 4 revised should not be applicable. Then there are CARO is again applicable for you guys. This is for your law paper. And yes, that's about it. So the final students, the only two amendments are there. December 2018 rules are not applicable, which means 2018 amendment are not applicable. 2017 amendments are applicable, and CAS 4 revised is not applicable. Limited revision of CAS is applicable, which is already there in your module and your video lectures. So you need not worry about any amendment which has happened. Your books and modules are absolutely amended. Now I would like to discuss the updates which have come in January 2019. So I told you that in January 2019 there has been a bit of restructuring which has happened in cost and management audit paper. And for those amendments, I'm going to briefly discuss those amendments with you. But before discussing those amendments with you, guys, if your module contains this star which says updated till amendments study material in January 2019, then your module is already covering all the amendments which have come in January 2019. You need not study from this amendment notes. Your module is already amended. Number 2, the students who are taking my current batch, I will make them do the amendments in the class. So they need not refer to this video, or they need not refer to the amended notes which I am just discussing in this video. This video is only for students who have studied with me in past batches and they have not been able to catch up with the updates which have happened in January 2019. Guys, the video lectures are updated. All the video lectures are updated with respect to the amendments which are made in January 2019. And in those videos, the amendments are discussed in detail. So you need not see this video if you already have lectures which are updated till January 2019. Now, for benefit of other students, let me come on to the amendments which have happened in January 2019 syllabus of cost and management audit. Guys, I would not call them as revisions because these are just restructuring, some minor restructuring which have happened in the study material. There is no deletion or major addition to any of the chapters, but there are some tweaking done here and there. So let's start. So updates in cost and management audit paper number 19 of CMA final in January 2019. First update is with respect to the additions made in the existing chapters of the study material. So the existing chapter of the study material have got some additions which have been made in them. Number one is chapter internal control, internal audit and operational audit. Guys, purely theory chapter. In this theory chapter, there are some theoretical aspects which were not discussed in too much of detail in the last module, but now they have discussed those topics in very great length in this revision. So you need not you need to go through the detailed version of the earlier content of the module. And mind you, since it is a latest revision, the chances of these questions recurring in June 2019 and December 2019 attempt is more than any other part of the syllabus. So first is limitations of internal control. In the earlier module, there was only one paragraph with respect to limitation of internal control, but now they've given plethora of points with respect to limitations of internal control. So internal control, as you are aware, are the control points or checkpoints which have been infused by the management to stop any mistake or any error from happening. So what are the limitations? First of all, it is costly. Yes, designing and implementation of internal controls are costly. No control of unusual transactions. So yes, the internal controls are primarily made for a purpose of usual transactions, and unusual transactions cannot be controlled through internal controls. Then human errors. There's always a possibility of human error. Even if you have a strong internal control, then also human element will be involved in that internal control, and hence human error is inevitable for any internal control which happens in an organization. Collusion among the employees. Yes, it has been seen that employees collude together or employees shake hands and try to evade internal controls. So that is a problem with internal controls. Abuse of authority. Some top level management can override the controls, can suppress the controls because they are on a very serious senior position. So suppose if there's a regulation that two managers will have to sign the check before check is being passed to the vendor, MD may come up and say, okay, I'll sign the check, and no need to get it signed from two managers. This happens. This is what is management override of control. So the control is that at least two people sign the check. But since MD has pitched in and he has signed the check himself, the control is lapsed. So this is management override of control because of their authority. So this is a shortcoming of internal control. Inadequate procedure. If your procedure of internal control is inadequate and you are not employing the right procedure, then that is a problem and that is a limitation. Manipulation by management. Management might manipulate with the estimates and judgments which are made in financial statements, and hence internal control might not be effective. Then another aspect which has been introduced is preparation of an audit. This has been introduced in again this chapter, internal control and internal audit, operational audit. This is discussing the preparation of audit, how to prepare for audit. So naturally very logical points have been enumerated in this content. First is you have to elaborate the scope of the audit. Then you have to have the knowledge of client's business. Then you have to check the internal control system, whether it's working properly or not. And I've told you in class that NTE, nature, timing and extent of audit procedures are to be seen. Nature of audit procedure which is to be employed, timing when it is to be employed, and the scalability of it, to what extent it is to be employed, are the relevant factors for preparing for an audit. Documentation is of course a very important point. Then you have to formulate an opinion and you have to draft an audit report. Now, the third point which has been inserted in this chapter is differentiation between continuous audit and final audit. So guys, as the word itself suggests, continuous audit means an audit which is carried on throughout the year. It doesn't stop, but it goes on and on and on. However, final audit is carried out only at the end of the financial year. Now, usually continuous audit covers 100% of the transaction. However, final audit covers sampling or test checking. Financial statements are finalized early and hence returns are finalized early in case of continuous audit. However, in case of final audit, the financial statements since they are scrutinized at the end of the year, hence there is a little bit of delay. Then continuous audit, the possibility of detection of error and fraud early is there, on a timely basis is there. However, in case of final audit, you detect the error and fraud after the year end, which might be a little delay. Now, the last aspect which has been introduced in this chapter is with respect to working papers audit notebook. Guys, audit notebook, just like your permanent file and your temporary file, this is another element of your audit working paper. Audit notebook is the notebook where you note down all your routine work which you are doing, or you note down your observations and you clarify them from the management. So this audit notebook can be an effective tool to prove that you have done your audit properly. So audit notebook is a documentation which is to be maintained by the auditor, and it has to be kept in the audit file, and it should not be thrown away. So there are certain contents of the audit notebook, what should be written in the audit notebook: name of the enterprise, organization structure, what have you discovered. All the things have to be recorded in the audit notebook. So these are the additions made by the institute in the module which is released in January 2019. Now B part of the amendments relate to deletions made in the existing chapter of study material. There are certain deletions which have been made in the study module. Guys, there is only one deletion made in the study module, and that deletion is with respect to first and second schedule of the CWA Act, which relates to professional ethics and responsibilities. So do you remember that in the book you would see first schedule part 1, part 2, part 3, second schedule part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. So these schedules have been omitted in the revised study material. Guys, although they have been omitted, still I would recommend you to study these thoroughly from an exam standpoint. Guys, if any question comes from this chapter, it is always with respect to the case studies in reference to these schedules. So case studies you would not be able to solve if you have not studied these schedules well. So it is my humble request and appeal to all of you, please do not consider this amendment at all. Please study these schedules, even if they are deleted. They are given in my book. I have given them in my book thoroughly. Please study these schedules. Do not ignore these schedules, because from an exam standpoint, it will be beneficial for you, as well as from a professional standpoint. When you go in your profession, these schedules are very, very important. So for your knowledge, just for your knowledge, this portion has been deleted from the study material. Now the third aspect, or the last aspect of the amendment which has taken place is aspect number C. Guys, there is a new chapter which has been inserted in the study material. No, please don't panic and don't be worry, because this chapter is a very small chapter, just 2-3 pages chapter, and it is a theoretical chapter which has been introduced after realizing the importance of documentation, and after realizing the importance of audit procedure, capturing audit procedure through an adequate file. So this is the new chapter which has been introduced in the January 2019 revised study material. Chapter name is Cost Audit Documentation and Audit Process. Guys, for those who have the updated study material which has this star, this chapter is already infused in their books. But those who don't have this chapter in their books, I have uploaded this chapter and this entire amendment module on www.agarwallawhouse.com. I have uploaded these amendments over there. You can download these amendments from there. Guys, I cannot afford to just keep these notes for free on Agarwal Law House, because there is an admin charge which is to be paid by them, and we cannot have a situation where there are unnecessary downloading of these amendment notes. People who do not require it are also downloading. So I have kept a very, very nominal fee for these notes, and just after paying that nominal fees, you can download these notes from the Agarwal Law House website. The fees is only and only to recuperate the admin expenses and to avoid unnecessary downloads from the website. Otherwise, I am not uploading them for my benefit or for any profit or gain. So let's come on to this chapter which has been introduced. It is cost audit documentation and audit process. First of all, engagement letter. Engagement letter is a letter which is there in signing, which which is there in writing, and which enumerates the scope, terms and conditions of the engagement. Hence this is an engagement letter. And what are the terms of audit engagement? You have to decide upon the objective and scope of engagement. Your objective should be clear and scope should be clear. Management responsibility of the financial statements. What is the responsibility? That financial statements are prepared by management. This is the responsibility of the management, and the auditor's responsibility is only to audit those financial statements and not to prepare. Preparation is a task of the management. Existence of inherent limitations. There are certain limitations of audit, like test checking basis. You have done a test checking and you have not done a complete checking, hence this is a limitation. So this should be enumerated in the engagement letter and management should be made well aware of this fact. Then need for use of services of internal auditor. If you have used services of any other expert or internal auditor, please give me an example of any other expert which can be used while auditing the financials of a particular entity. It is actuarial services. Accounting standards require a person to hire an actuarial for creating provision for gratuity, leave encashment and post retirement benefits. Hence, if you have employed any other expert or you have relied on internal audit, you have to mention this fact in the engagement letter. Then there should be a confirmation letter as regard to representation made by them concerning the audit. There has to be a management confirmation letter. Management should sign a confirmation letter on certain aspects which auditor was not able to verify. Then if there is any restriction to auditor's liability, this should be mentioned in the engagement letter. The basis of computation of audit fees and billing arrangement should be mentioned in the engagement letter. Then a form of reports and other communication of results of the engagement. What is your ultimate output? What kind of report are you envisaging from this audit procedure? This should also be mentioned in the engagement letter. Then second comes the topic of audit documentation. What do you mean by documentation? Documentation supporting the audit assertions of the management. So you should maintain a file where you are documenting all the audit assertions. So what is an assertion? Guys, management says that our fixed assets have been capitalized properly. This is a management assertion. Now auditor has to check this management assertion by way of documentation. So you have to collect documents which support the audit of assertion of the management. Evidence of checking of various heads of financial statements. You have to maintain documentation for checking of various heads of financial statement. What are the evidences? Working papers, etc. should form part of your audit file. So the idea is that tomorrow if a third party comes up and asks you what have you done, you should be able to demonstrate that you have done your audit properly. This is the idea of a proper documentation. Then what is an audit file? You know what is an audit file. It's a folder or other storage media in physical or electronic form containing the records that comprise the audit documentation. This is an audit file. Whatever records you've culled during your audit process, it should be maintained in audit file. Then what is an audit working paper? It substantiates or supports the work done in order to provide the assurance. So what is a working paper? Working paper is a supporting document to the audit work done. Now, what are the stages of audit? Stages of audit are planning, performing, and reporting. So first you have to plan. What do you have to plan? You have to basically plan the NTE, nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. Then you have to plan the resources who are required for this particular audit. So first step is to do planning for an audit. Second is performing, actually going on site, going at the client's place. On site means the client's place, and performing the various procedure is known as performing. And then the last stage is reporting. Now see, you don't have any product, so we don't have an iPhone to sell in market. Our product as an auditor is always our auditor's report. So guys, whatever you've done, the final output which is coming in the hands of the users of the financial statements is your auditor's report. So your reporting should be perfect. Just like iPhone is perfect, just like whatever technology you are using or products you are using the products because they are really good in way of utility. Similarly, you have to prepare your audit report in the best possible manner. All the font size, all the clarity in the concepts, all the qualifications, how are they drafted, everything should be perfect. So that these are the three stages of your process of audit: planning, performing, and reporting. Planning the audit, performing the audit, and reporting the audit. And these three stages have been elaborated in the notes. There are certain minute steps which cost auditor should follow while doing the audit process, which you can easily read through this particular page and this entire module, amendment module, and you will be able to gauge what is the detailed procedure of audit. So yes, this topic might not come in such detail, but yes, the examiner may ask you about certain stage, like please enumerate the performing of the audit stage number 3, or reporting of the audit stage. So you just have to go through these steps 3 times and you will be home. There's no other requirement to study anything else apart from these amendment notes for the updates which have come in the January 2019 module. So that's it for this video, guys, and I hope, I really pray and I really wish that you guys are working hard for your June 2019 attempt. Guys, a quick time check, only and only half a month to go for March, April and May, 2.5 months to go. Now is the time when you have to wrap up your coachings very fast, and you have to keep maximum time for self-study. Those students who are working, it's my sincere advice to them, please take adequate leaves from your office, or at least employ time after your office hours to your studies, because it's really important to employ time now. Those students who have not studied for the entire year, past year, even if they study from today onwards, they will be able to score good marks in the examination, because last 3 months are the key for scoring good marks, successful completion of your examination syllabus. So with that positive note, all the very best, guys, and happy studying.